Okay, seems to be working. I hope, I think, maybe. I looked into this yesterday, and I think I kind of got the hang of how this works, but I'm not sure. So I'm not even sure where people are supposed to comment. It's all kind of confusing. So hold on. I looked into this yesterday. Oh, look at that. Hold on, I'm gonna get my headphones, because without them, this is gonna be a bit. Yourself on screen, like saying something that you just said 10 seconds ago. Yes, I think it is. At least I'm seeing it, so that should be where you comment if you want me to read it. So I'm guessing you found the right box. So I think that's the box like to the right of the video. Is that where you typed it? Wow, I'm really badly out of sync. Well, let's hope this works somehow. Let's wait until a few more people get here. Let me try to pronounce your name. Fresnite. Hi, Fresnite. Not too many people here yet. Let me check how many. 10. Wow, that's nice. That's a few already. So, I'm probably gonna have to repeat this a few times, but what I want to do today is, well, basically, I mean, since this is live, we can do whatever turns out to be the most popular thing to do. But you know, the way I planned it was that we, or you, could get another opportunity to ask me questions, of course about material, about German, but I don't know, I think these Hangouts are better for asking questions about me, or maybe the project in general, or, you know, whatever comes to your mind. Of course, you can ask grammar questions. I mean, that's what I do on here, so so I will answer those too, but you know, just whatever comes up. And if there are some questions that I can't get to, or that maybe are too, I don't know, would take too long, or too much of a planned answer, I might, you know, take those for later and then just talk about them in a separate video. Okay. I think I share this on Twitter as well. Should be on Twitter. My favorite German proverb. Um, Gosh, I actually have to think. Um, well, there isn't a specific one off the top of my head right now. Um, I'm not very good with proverbs in general because I don't know, I find them kind of cheesy a lot of the time. I mean, you use them in everyday conversation, but uh, yeah. So let me think. I'm actually the things that are coming to me right now are just really stupid, cheesy ones like "Wie gewonnen, so zerronnen." Which is like, I think there is an English equivalent to that. As quickly as you can gain something, just as fast you can lose it. Um, but that's not my favorite proverb. It's just something that came to my mind right just now. So I really can't say. I know it's a disappointing answer, but I really don't have one right now. There might be one that pops into my head later. So who knows? I actually didn't make a Reddit post about this yet because I didn't really even think about the fact that people might be interested there. So I'm just going to do that real quick. Because that is a good idea. Thank you for reminding me. Wait, who did that? Katzhöck. Katz. Hoek. Katz. Höck. Oh, and before I do that, can somebody maybe if Oh yes, that's a great one. Deutsche Sprache, schwere Sprache. Exactly. German language, hard language. Perfect for the channel. Very good. Why did you ask me? You already know it. It's perfect. um, I'm still not quite sure about this whole Hangout thing. Do I just share the link that you have, like the URL that you get if you click on the video in the feed on YouTube, or do I have to share the that Hangout link, that long one that I get in the Hangout window? Because I think that one is for when people want to join per video in audio, and that's it's kind of with so many people that would be a bit chaotic, I think. So okay, hold on. Yeah, so I want to know what link I need. Sorry, I want to know what link I need to post on Reddit, or if I wanted to post it on any other side, I would post the one that I see on YouTube, right? YouTube is fine. Okay, so I'm just gonna go with that. Let's see, what are we gonna do? So this is the link. Jesus, my space button is like, it's working, I guess, but you have to make it like hit it like dead center, or it won't make space. So I just have these huge compounds of words that really should be compounds. So, I really have to get a new keyboard. This one is way too old by now. Okay. All you see is red. Well, I like red, so. Okay. Wait. I just have to scroll so I don't miss anything. Um, Hold on. Hallo aus Marokko. Hallo nach Marokko. Yes, I do own pets. I have a cat, or we have a cat. It actually featured in episode 14, I think, because she was sitting outside my door and crying, so I had to let her in. So yeah, I have a cat. She's actually quite old by now, so yeah. Well, that would explain. Well, Fortnite says that the space button is the most pressed button on the keyboard. That would explain why it wears out. Although I think it's partially my fault because I spilled peach juice over it recently, or syrup, I should say, and I cleaned it, which I was very proud of doing because I haven't done that in all the time that I've had this keyboard, and I might have messed it up for good, so. Hallo Markus. um, May I ask? Hold on, let me read your question. In Taiwan, it is difficult to learn German, especially the speaking ability. Is there a possible solution to improve my speaking ability by online resources? Well, speaking is kind of difficult. I would say that, practicing fluent language in general will, like, even if it's just writing, it will eventually help you with learning to speak better. So if I have recommended these two pages before, Lang8, that's lang-8.com, and you can speak there. At least I don't think they have, implemented anything like that. But you can write like little journal entries, and people can correct them. Native speakers from whatever language you choose to practice. So that helps you with fluent writing, but I see how that, there still is a step between writing and speaking. So what really helped me with becoming fluent is, of course, school lessons, but also just watching movies. Really, it's that simple. In the beginning, you won't understand much, so in the beginning it is the better idea to get stuff with subtitles that you understand. But you'll just, you get into the habit of hearing how things sound and how words are connected and everything, because that is different in every language. So just from hearing and maybe like talking to yourself a little bit every now and then, I think that will practice, that will help you practice a lot already. Have you ever eaten pancakes with bratwurst? No. No, actually no. I've had both separately, but no, I don't imagine that tastes well either, but who knows? Can you understand most of the German dialects? That's actually a good question because I'm not even sure how many dialects there are in total. I would say that some of the more I don't want to say older ones, but there are some that are really, really, really deep. Like the region I'm in, I think is understandable even if you're not from here. If you listen very closely, like it can be difficult and you probably won't catch everything, but I think you will get the gist of it. While for some dialects, it's really hard. So I definitely can't say that I understand everything there is, but I would say I can get a grip on most. Um, my but actually my grandparents are from the region around Cologne, and my grandpa would regularly tell jokes in Kölsch, which is the dialect from Cologne. And my sister and I would just sit there and be like, huh, when everybody else laughed because, we didn't understand enough for that. So even though it's in my family, I don't understand that well. So, it's some are really, um, hard to understand. How understandable is it when I inadvertently use the incorrect gender while speaking German? Perfectly understandable. Maybe there are some weird cases in which people might get a wrong idea because of a declension, but I would say that is very rare. Because sadly, even though it's such a big deal to learn the articles, it's really not that important to get them right. Of course, that will be like the definite sign that you're not a native speaker, even if you have a perfect dialect and everything, a perfect pronunciation. That will be the number one telltale. Is that what you say? Because you just don't make those mistakes as a native speaker most of the time. But aside from that, aside from maybe your personal ambition to actually at one point sounding like a native speaker, it's not that important. People appreciate when you try to get the right one, but they will understand what you mean even if you use der instead of das. Yeah, ciao is, I don't know. We don't say it to greet people, like we don't say it as you would in Italian to ciao bella. But oh Jesus, I just made a really, really bad Americanization of Bella. Ciao Bella. So we don't do that, but we say it to say goodbye. Just I don't know, a lot of Italians hear it at some point. Um, so I guess there's probably a history to why or when or how ciao became imported into our little, colloquial ways of saying goodbye, but there's really not much more to it. Are there any books you would recommend about German culture? Um, I have to admit I don't know too many. Ihr wollt jetzt, dass ich die ganze Zeit Deutsch rede und es dann übersetze, das ist ein bisschen anstrengend. Somebody asked me to just speak German the whole time and then translate it. And I just said that, that will be kind of, uh, anstrengend. Anstrengend doesn't really have a good translation. It can mean strenuous, it can mean exhausting. Exhausting is probably the best translation. So really kind of exhausting for me, a lot of additional work. But yeah, when it fits, I'll definitely squeeze some German in today. I mean, that's part of the point here. Platt is tough. Exactly. Plattdeutsch is from way up north. And it's actually, I don't want to say it's its own language, but it is a very, very, very specific dialect. So, there are some proverbs or poems, or even my mother used to sing this song to me as a child that I wouldn't understand, not a word, but I would only understand a little of it. So that's actually very, yeah, that's true. That's one of the tougher ones. No, I'm not from. You know what? It sucks to have to pronounce two different languages within the same sentence. I am not from Stuttgart, but I am from Baden-Württemberg. I don't have a favorite beer. I actually don't like beer that much, or at all, I have to say. I'm very un-German in that way. Is it like understanding all the English ones, though? Yeah, it's, English has a lot of dialects, too. Some are easier to understand than others. But Scottish, like full-on fast Scottish, is really hard to understand sometimes. Like some sentences, okay, maybe you get one word every now and then that you don't get, but you can understand the gist of it. But then there are others that are just, you sit there and like, oh, are you still speaking English? Because I don't think you are. So with English and many other languages too, I reckon. Hi, I'm from the Philippines. Here we call Germans Alemán. So what is German word? A Filipino. We say Filipino. Die Philippinen, Filipino. Okay, hold on. I gotta scroll. I like the northern German dialects. They almost sound a little like English. They do. And they are very closely related still because, both English and German are Germanic languages. So, yeah, some I understand some of it better now than I did, as a child, even when my German was already good, because I now speak English. So, yeah. Katja ist die Frau. Like Katja is the man, the woman. Well, thanks. Do you understand Swiss German? Sometimes, most of the time I don't. I was actually when I was traveling in America, at some point I was at a hostel and was cooking my dinner, and I heard these two guys talking behind me the whole time, and I kept thinking it sounds like German because you know how from the sounds and the now I don't want to say the rhythm, but just from the sounds that appear, you can sometimes just tell what a language it is, what language it is, but I couldn't understand a word of it, and they were just standing, I don't know, 2 meters behind me. So eventually I just asked, and they were like, "We're from Switzerland," and I was like, "Oh, that explains it." If you know what people are talking about, like if you know the context, then you can get it, but it's really not that easy. And it is considered its own language, so it makes sense. What about Austrian German? Ich bin in Österreich jetzt und ich kann nicht die ganze Zeit und ich kann nicht die ganz jetzt Deutsch zu verstehen. Ähm, ich kann, I don't know what exactly we're trying to say here. Ich bin jetzt in Österreich. I'm in Austria now. Und ich kann nicht, you can't understand all German. Well, Austrian German, I actually answered this in a comment recently, is very, it is still considered a dialect, I think, or maybe an accent, but it definitely is a heavy dialect, or what do you say, deep dialect, very specific dialect. It's very, for people that are not from there or from Bavaria, it sounds very similar to Bavarian German. I know it's not the same, okay, so don't get on my case, but they're very similar. So, and Bavarian German isn't always easy to understand for people that don't live there either. So in Austria, it's even worse. So you definitely have to get used to it. I can totally understand that if you studied standard German or Hochdeutsch, that you would have problems at the beginning. Okay, hold on. I noticed that the word nicht is sometimes used in different places in a sentence. Can you explain it for me? I will do an episode on negation, so I don't want to really get into that right now because it is, it takes some explaining, and if I, just try to piece together an explanation here without doing some proper research on some of the things that are floating in my head, so I would prefer doing an episode on that. Once again, as always, I can't tell or can't say when that will be, but there will be an episode on negation because despite how positive I want all of you to be, of course, you have to say no from time to time. Is there any dialect in German? Whoa, wait. The comment's just speeding up on me. Is there any dialect in German that always pronounces V as F? Always. No, I don't know. Or I don't think so. I haven't come across one yet. there may be people with a speech impediment that do that, but I don't think there is a dialect that does it. I'm not 100% sure, but I don't think there is. Oh, because your teacher told you V is always pronounced F. Well, that was sloppy information because, you know, I just did the episode on it. You probably watched it. I guess that's why you're asking. Um, Maybe they meant, you know, the German V is always pronounced as an F, and that's true. But the problem is that a German V, of course, you know, you would think that every word in German with a V is then pronounced with an F with which is wrong. But a German F, as in every a German V, sorry, a German V, as in every V in a German word, is pronounced as an F. But no, beyond that, sorry. Hallo, hallo. Hallo, hallo. Hallo, hallöchen? What? Lily Rivers asked, when I was learning German in school, we got told that Hallo, hallöchen. Ach, Hallöchen, Hallöchen. Oh, is that what you meant? I think you meant Hallöchen. Was like a super hello thing. Does it have some meaning at all? Well, Hallöchen is a cutified version of Hallo because, you know, the chen and lein suffix make things cute. So if I say Hallöchen, I'm like, hello. You can't do that in English. You know, it's like, Hallöchen, you're cutifying your hello. That's all you're doing. So it doesn't mean more than that. It's just cute hello. And hallo, hallöchen, I've never actually heard anybody say that, but you know, that's just a double hello, hello, cute. No, I won't sing the first part of the German anthem, sorry. I'm not gonna sing live on camera. Yeah, I think ciao is just spread across Europe quite a lot, isn't it? You know, it's short, it's easy to say, it's nah, you know, everybody likes Italian, like ciao. I'm actually kind of split on the World Cup thing because of the situation in Brazil. So yeah, but you know, I'm probably gonna have to give in to peer pressure anyway. Wait, I'm Scottish. Did I insult you with talking about Scottish? I'm sorry. Well, you know, I'm not saying I don't like Scottish. I like Scottish. It sounds very kernig, as we say. You know, very. I don't want to say manly because I don't think it is. That's not what I mean. It's like very like getting to the essence. And kernig is hard to translate. It's like I don't know. I'm just gonna say like a lot to explain this. So I don't know. It's just I like the sound. It's just that I can't understand it well when people actually speak it like really, really, really deeply Scottish and fast. So it's just hard. Hi from California, Katja. Question: Do you know? Hallo nach Kalifornien. Question: Do you normally speak Deutsch with your regional accent or Hochdeutsch with the non-regional accent? I normally and very much most of the time speak Hochdeutsch, simply because that is what I grew up with, because my family is actually from different parts of Germany, and because uh, uh, you know, both my parents went to university and they're kind of required to speak Hochdeutsch. You know, people will understand you if you have a slight accent, but so those two things, and I think my parents also just wanted us to know proper Hochdeutsch. And I actually didn't know or couldn't speak the regional dialect here until I was like, I don't know, 15. Because my parents couldn't speak it, they only moved here as well, and they didn't like it, and so I learned from friends, and I can do it now, but I use it for comedic effect mostly. recommend to watch to learn German? Cartoon. Well, as I said, Disney movies aren't German, but they are always translated into German. Translations are really good, so that would be an option. Cartoons, actually. Oh, yeah, Heidi isn't German either. Nils Holgersson isn't German either, but also a very popular kids show, based on a Swedish book, I think. And also, I think the show wasn't made in Germany either, but it was, it kept being re-aired for years. Nils Holgersson. Then what else? Alfred Jodokus Quack, or Alfred J. Quack, like the sound that a duck makes. Quack, quack, quack. Is a series about a little duck whose parents and siblings get killed when he's just, a little duckling, and he then gets raised by a mole, and his main trademark is a red scarf. And I don't know if it's the best thing for German beginners, because Alfred is the main character, and he speaks with a very, very, very adorable Dutch accent, because the author of this whole thing was from the Netherlands. But it is a very cute and nice show, and yeah, so that's one I would recommend. Also, Das Sandmännchen, Sandman. The main, the main story thing is always without talking. Like, the Sandman goes to see some children, and then they watch an evening cartoon, and then these cartoons have language in them. The Sandmännchen is always like 10 minutes long, so it's not much, but they have these little, really just basic children's cartoons in them, and they're really cute, so that's something that you might want to check out as well. Do you like football? A question from a Brazilian. Oh, you're really putting me on the spot. Despite me being German, I don't mind football. I do mind if I have to listen to it every weekend, but I don't mind it. And normally for the big events, I will, watch maybe not every game, but some of them, because it's just such a big public event here. But I don't really care for it. I'm not into sports in general that much, or at least not into, actually, let's say I'm more into esports than actual sports. Hast du Tipps für das Selbststudium meiner Sprache? Ich lerne gerade Finnisch. Sieht aus wie eine Frage von der Deutschen, deswegen werde ich es jetzt mal auf Deutsch beantworten. I will just answer this question in German. Test how much you understand. Tipps für Selbststudium. Also, da ich relativ viel Zeit damit verbracht habe, mir selber Japanisch beizubringen, weiß ich, dass das ziemlich anstrengend ist. Ich habe auch schon Leute gesehen, die das extrem schnell geschafft haben, und war sehr beeindruckt davon. Mir geht es zum Beispiel so, dass ich extrem viel über die Sprache und Grammatik und so weiter weiß, dafür, dass ich es eben selber gelernt habe, aber im Prinzip keine Wörter kenne, weil ich immer was Wichtigeres zu tun hatte. Also das ist im Prinzip, also wenn du es wirklich nur selber machen möchtest, würde ich sagen, dass du auf jeden Fall beachten musst, dass du deine Wörter lernst. Weil ich war immer so ein bisschen, Vokabeln, mal gucken, vielleicht morgen. Ich muss erst Französisch lernen. Ja, also das ist, glaube ich, weil du halt die Zeit reinstecken musst, Vokabeln zu lernen, und das ist das Nervige. Und da ist es immer ganz nett, jemanden zu haben, der einem in den Hintern tritt. Ja. Sonst such dir einen Volkshochschulkurs, oder wenn du studierst, einen Unikurs, oder geht auch, könntest trotzdem, auch wenn du noch Schülerin bist oder schon arbeitest, kann man ja immer an die Uni gehen und sich einen Gasthörerstatus holen und dann eben sich mit den Vorlesungen reinsetzen. Ist normalerweise ein bisschen mehr Tempo als ein Volkshochschulkurs, aber man lernt halt auch schneller. Also ich habe jetzt Russisch angefangen im April, das heißt, ich mache das jetzt seit knapp 2 Monaten, und ich habe auf jeden Fall schon mehr gelernt, als ich in einem halben Jahr Französisch gelernt habe, so wie ich das einschätze. Ja. Gut, back to English. Um, how much do you put ketchup in food? I don't know, an average amount. I wouldn't say it's a, the go-to condiment here. Or yeah, by now we're very globalized, or let's say Americanized in many regards. I personally hate the American accent. That's a shame. I don't think there is the American accent, is there? Because people always go, I hate American, I hate British, but there is no one thing there, is it? You can have standard British, standard American. Okay, most people prefer one thing or the other, but I think both have their perks. So language is just beautiful in general, which is kind of hypocritical of me to say because I'm one of those people, I'm kind of grammar Nazi and kind of. German dialects are kind of a tricky love-hate relationship for me. I like them on one hand, but on the other hand, I just regret that they make so many mistakes. Can you tell us what made you decide to help German learners? Hmm. Uh, I don't know. I really like languages. I really like learning them and like thinking about them. And I always notice that when I actually learn a language myself, um, one of the things that I think about the most is like structure. Like, well, how does this work, and what's the rule for this, and just how the most part of learning Japanese for me was always like figuring out, oh, this particle does this and it goes there, and I didn't really have books for that. Just from hearing it in songs and anime and reading about it a little bit in books, I just liked figuring things out. So I find languages interesting, exciting, and every time I hear another language that I can't speak, I'm like, I want to learn that. So I guess it's just that's the first thing, like the general interest in languages. And secondly, I like talking, as you can see, and and I like teaching people stuff and we're telling people about stuff and explaining things and maybe trying to find an approach that I would think is more understandable than the more common way of teaching, or just I don't know. I think that's why I'm starting to be a teacher now. It's just what I enjoy doing. Having the feeling that I'm helping people get to a goal that they already have, which of course in school is, kind of, they might not always have it themselves, but. Woo! I hate when you scroll down, it just jumps down. I hate that. Trevanian novel? Trevanian's novel? I've never even heard of that, I have to say. From how many countries are your subscribers? They're actually very, very varied. Uh, I think I have a lot of from America, of course, from Britain, but there are also a lot of people, I think, from India and North Africa, and also just all around the world. Actually, I hear a lot from Brazilians and other people from Central and South America, and also Russia and other Slavic countries. So I would say it's pretty much from all around the world. Pretty much from all around the world, which is great because I mean, yeah, it's great that I'm reaching so many people, especially because I started this thing and it still is more for native English speakers than, or directed at native English speakers than any other people, any other speaker community, just out of the sheer fact that I can't speak any other or any of my second languages as well as English. So for explaining grammar, I want to feel comfortable in the language that I'm using as a vehicle to teach. Hold on, I gotta drink something. I got a dry throat. It's already been half an hour. Wow. I talk way too much. Is it possible to reduce the volume of intro music in your videos? People, I know there's only 70 of you here, so I'm never gonna get a break from this, but seriously, if you're still complaining about the intro music, you obviously haven't watched any of the last 20 episodes or so. I absolutely agree, it was too loud in the beginning, especially if you're using headphones. I don't think it's quite as bad if you're using speakers and listening at a reasonable volume. But I do agree, in the beginning they were way too loud. The problem is I can't change that. It's up there. I can't, you know, and YouTube couldn't change it if they wanted to because it's my file. They can't just change the audio. So yeah, it is quieter in the newer episodes, both the intro and the outro, so can't do much about the other ones, sorry. Why do German speakers sometimes pronounce English these as w sound? My fiancé does this, but if German doesn't have an English w sound, it doesn't make sense to me. Well, this is actually something that last semester I learned is called hypercorrection, because we are aware or are taught that, hold on, whoop. We are taught that, you know, it is a common mistake for us to say v instead of w. So, for example, I see a whale instead of I see a whale. Because we are aware of that, and of course in school told over and over again, don't do that, don't say what is this, or rather what is this, because we get told that so much and develop a certain awareness for that, because, you know, we're not completely ignorant to that stuff, because they try to correct it or try to do it correctly, but end up doing it that way around too much. So it's just something that ends up happening. Same thing. I took phonetics last semester, and we had this as a very good example where this happens in English. You know how there's some British accents that don't pronounce the H, and Reagans, you know, My Fair Lady, and people from that, you know, that have that sort of dialect, tend to hypercorrect after, you know, being told that they're supposed to put an H in there, tend to hypercorrect for words where there is no H pronounced. So, for example, 1 hour. I was 1 hour late. So that's the same effect. You hear that you're doing something wrong, and then you try to apply it everywhere where it sounds right. That's just, you know, what happens there. So it's unfortunately not only the V instead of W is the problem for Germans, but also the other way around, for many at least. Yes, this Hangout will automatically be uploaded to the channel later. It's saved automatically, so yes. Hallo Katja, I've wondered how you translate Mann from German to English. Mann as in man macht, man kann. One, they, you. You can do this. They could call the police, or one would assume that this and this happens. I think man is still, I like man better actually, but you know, there are 3 ways of translating man into English, and they all have their own implications. I think the most common one is probably you, at least in spoken or more colloquial English. Have you ever been to Bremen? I'm going to Bremen this October to learn German at Goethe Institute. Nope, unfortunately not, which is why its description did fall kind of short in episode 9. I've never been to Bremen. I've never even been to Hamburg, which is a shame. I've been to Berlin, but yeah, that's 2 places I still definitely have to go in Germany, among many others. So wow, you got a 20 out of 20 in the German exam because oh, I'm glad I could help with that. That's so great to hear stuff like that. Wow, thanks for telling me. Wait, were you alive when the wall fell? Nope. No, no. And even if I was, I would have been too small to remember it. But I wish I had because it definitely must have been a very memorable and very not maybe life-changing, but very uh, just a great thing to experience, I guess. How to say I'm planning on studying in Germany in German? Well, you would say, ich habe vor, in Deutschland zu studieren. Wirst du eine andere Sprache lernen? Eine andere, neben was? ähm, Im Moment lerne ich Russisch. At the moment, I'm studying Russian. So that's what I'm doing at the moment. And then after that, actually, I still wanna um, make finally get better at Japanese because 私はちょっと話せましたけど、言葉を知らないから、本当に難しいですね。So I just don't know that many words in Japanese, and my grammar is not top notch either. So I definitely want to fresh up my Japanese or make my Japanese better. And I don't know, there's so many languages, and honestly, I wish I could learn them all, which is absolutely impossible, unfortunately. But I hope there will be some more in the course of my life. So. Hey Katja, I have trouble pronouncing words in German. Are there any tips I could try so I could get the words down? I'm also wondering how you know when to change your accent. Um, well, with pronunciation, the key element to practicing is hearing and trying to repeat. So, watch stuff, listen to stuff, read along with stuff, and try repeating it. Try like if you have any exercises, or if you don't get a book with exercises, if you have to write them down, either like pronounce them while writing them down or do them orally first and then write them down. And that's actually what I'm doing with Russian at the moment a lot. Because you need to get that flow, if you're just writing and you're getting everything right, that's fine, but you don't know if you could actually say that if you never practice. So a lot of pronunciation of a foreign language, especially if it's far away from your native language, is a lot about practice, really. It's also about your ear, but that really just makes it easier or maybe quicker, if you have a good ear. And maybe, even will end up, you might get to a deceivingly native sounding stage faster, but it's practice. All of it is practice. My pronunciation, for example, was pretty good a few years ago already, but I don't know. If I look at some shorter videos I did in like 7th grade or something, I had my very own pronunciation. It didn't sound German, it didn't sound British, it didn't sound American. It was just me trying to sound somehow English. So you will go through a lot of practicing pronunciation until you actually find a pronunciation where you're comfortable. And that doesn't mean you have to be perfect. It's just, you're comfortable. That's it. I've heard people use different colored light bulbs in Western East Germany from Vsauce. I haven't seen that Vsauce video. Maybe you could link me to it. Oh, Google an image of Berlin at night because they kept the light bulbs from before the fall of the wall, and the western is white and the east is yellow. I didn't know that. But besides, they probably took that out of context. As I said, I haven't seen the video. Yeah. What game do you follow? Please no lol. I'm sorry, but I actually do follow League of Legends. Not that, passionately, but I am most of the time I'm kind of up to date. Although, as I said, it's not with a passion. I don't have a favorite team because that is the whole thing is kind of in all sports. I don't know them personally. Why would I root for them? So, but yeah. Beside that, I just, sometimes take a look at Twitch, what is up, what is going on, and, you know, I also still really like old games that obviously don't have as much of, if at all, any competitive scene, but, you know. Are you into gaming? Yeah, let's just continue with that. Are you into gaming? And if so, what games do you like to play? Well, I do play League of Legends and I do play Hearthstone and some online stuff, but I'm not too much of a shooter girl. Not yet. That might change at any moment. It's just, but for me, the most important part of a game actually is the story. So I very much prefer games, you know, with a story. So, and I actually prefer the console. I just played Child of Light, and man, I love that game. I'm the first time I heard the music, I started crying again and again just because it's so damn beautiful. I love that game. Besides that, I also really like God of War style games, and just like trying new things as well. Played LA Noire, for example, and I like that. I'm I'm a bit late for it, but I'm playing Grand Theft Auto 5 right now. And I'm most of the time I'm playing more than one game at the same time because I usually get bored, and I really like to get all achievements and complete every little thing. So I will start playing a new game before I complete another one. So, yeah. So I have a few older computer games that I also still like to play. If any of you know that, I will love you for it. I used to play a lot of Jazz Jackrabbit 2 when I was a child, and that is very close to my heart still. So I still have a thing for side scrollers in general. So yeah. But in general, I would say hack and slay stuff. Alice Madness Returns is one of my favorite games of all time. Like just I love it to death. So yeah, well that gets kind of sidetracked. Games, German. Although I've actually thought about if I ever get the time for that, and if I ever get my stupid new computer up to, there's always something wrong with it. I have actually thought about, doing a channel because everybody has a gaming channel nowadays, right? So I thought, why not do that as well? Because I love playing games, so I might as well integrate that and try to do a mishmash of German and English while playing them. So who knows? Maybe that's up eventually sometime in the future. Nobody likes Russian or Russians. That's mean. I do. Können Sie auch auf Französisch sprechen? Je parle un peu français, mais c'est pas bien. J'ai appris le français à l'école. Et alors, bon, my French is really not that good. I never really put much work into it. Well, I did the work, but I didn't really do much outside of what I had to do for school. So I was always a good student, but school language without doing anything extra for it really doesn't take you that far if you really stay, fixated, or just don't go outside of what that where that takes you. So yeah. Are you originally from Germany or did you learn the language? I am German. I'm very much 100% German, very boringly. I would have loved to grow up bilingually, but I didn't. So yeah, I'm 100% German, from Germany, still live in Germany. Yeah. 日本第一。はい、そうですね。I'm originally from Wales. Cool. Nice. It's so nice always, to see where people are from. L'ordinateur. The thing that I always loved was télécharger. I loved how you had that own. Everybody says download, but no, the French have télécharger. Ah, très français. It's fine. It's cool. Like that's just your word for it. But that's just it's so French to me. I don't know why. Nicht hast du schon mal in Australien, sondern warst du schon mal in Australien. No, I've never been to Australia before, and not New Zealand either. Unfortunately, I definitely want to go there sometime, but so far I haven't had the chance. Capri-Sonne. Was sind die Unterschiede zwischen sehen, schauen und gucken? What are the differences between sehen, schauen und gucken? That's actually a very good question. You know what? I'm just going to write that down for later because I actually might want to talk about that in a video sometime. Because that's another question point, but it's just something that you don't think about it as much. Think about as much as a native speaker. One quick thing I can say about it right now is that it's very much like the differences between to see, to view, and to look at, or to watch. You actually even have more words for it. So, that's ansehen. We also have like look at. So that's that's basically to give you an idea. We also differentiate between this whole look at, watch, view, and just to see. Although we don't differentiate as much between hearing and listening, so that's something we don't do that much. Hallo from India. Hallo nach Indien. My mother-in-law asked me, you plan on staying for dinner? I'm just stupid to get that joke, sorry. Oh, somebody from Iran. Hallo nach Iran. Oh, okay. No, Julia, just, I gathered, just from asking in German that you probably understood German, so I just went with that. Also, people want to hear German, so I guess there you go. Yeah, of course, I figured if you're watching, you're probably gonna understand English, right? It would be a bit boring if you didn't. But yeah, you're welcome. Okay, let's see. Anything else? Damn, it's already been 1 hour. Whew. Are you a musician? Nope. I play the piano. I had a teacher until I was in 5th grade, so when I was about 10. But he was a piano teacher, and I was actually trying to learn the keyboard. So I did really learn either one well or at all. So I then quit, and I didn't touch it for a few years, and then I started playing it again myself, and I'm not bad. I'm fine, but you know, I'm not really a show. I like playing because I love instrumental music, and yeah. I also play a bit of guitar, but mostly to, you know, play along with singing or playing along with songs. So, you know, because, you know, guitar, it's really easy to make that first jump to from, you know, from knowing nothing to sounding like you actually know this stuff, even though you only know like 3 chords. So I can't say I play the guitar. I know how to strum it. I also play the recorder from back in elementary school because pretty much everyone learns to play it here. So now I'm not a musician. Would love to put more time into it sometime, but Was denkst du über Rappers wie Haftbefehl, Casey Rebel oder Farid Bang? I'm not sure if I'm gonna hurt anybody here, but no. They're mostly a source of amusement for me, if anything. Whole gangster rap thing, you know, dicke Hose is what we say to here, you know, fat pants. It's just, I'm so cool and you're nothing. It's, why do you have to be like that? Just that. I didn't think it's cool. I didn't appreciate the hype that, you know, Germany had about it in like 2006, 7-ish. You know, because then Bushido was very big, and so were a lot of other gangster rappers, the German gangster rappers. And I don't really like it. I mean, it's you know, it's its own style of music, I guess, and I don't want to say that I don't like any rap. Certainly not. I definitely like some of Casper's and Crow stuff from nowadays, which is kind of the indie rap stuff, and I also really like Eminem still. But German gangster rap just never did it for me. It just always sounded a little wannabe. I don't know. I'm gonna shoot you up. It's just what for? Why would you want to do that? Why would you want to be an asshole? So it's, you know, making a career out of being an asshole and being disrespectful. Just you know, is a concept that never impressed me or that I could really ever get behind. So no, I don't really appreciate likes. After the reunification of Germany, is there still a big difference between East Germany and West Germany? I think this is a question that comes up quite often. And yes, there is. There is somewhat of a difference still in certain things. Wages differ in some things. There's less people in most of the eastern states than in most of the western states, or X, I should say. So, you know, you can still see differences, and I think it is understandable that some people living in the eastern states, especially people that experienced the GDR, are somewhat disappointed with how things are nowadays. And I think it's definitely understandable. So there is a lot of, you know, still, there is a certain divide still. I would definitely say there are differences. Although, you know, we've come a long way since the fall of the wall, so that's a good thing. Ah, wait. The comment section just jumped on me again. Which languages do you speak or have studied? Well, ich spreche Deutsch, I speak English, я изучаю по-русски, что-то нihongo anasemasu, et je parle un peu français. Oh. And I also studied Latin in school because we were sort of required to if you wanted to go into this language. You could, at some point, they make you decide between language branch and natural sciences branch, and the natural sciences branch basically sets you up for definitely getting physics as a major in 11th grade, or as a very important subject. in 11th grade, and at that point you will never have had one single lesson of physics, so I didn't really want to take that risk. So I ended up taking Latin, and even though I don't have an active vocabulary because we only ever translate, so we never spoken language, unless you want to speak to the Pope, I guess. You know, most of it is passive nowadays. So translating from German into Latin is something that I can't do well, but it definitely helps me with learning other Romantic languages, and that is a perk that is not to be underestimated. Because, for example, I've never had a single lesson of Spanish, and I don't speak Spanish, and I can't understand spoken Spanish, but when I read a Spanish text, I can get the gist of it. Of course, I won't understand all words, but just from knowing Latin, French, and English, I will understand what's going on. So, and that is mostly due to knowing Latin. So, it definitely has its very big upsides, even though it is a lot of work. It also prepared me for cramming cases in Russian, like I have to do now. What do you study in university? If you do, I'm studying to be a teacher for English and Russian now. I started last semester for teaching English and philosophy, but I wanted to learn another language, so yeah. I switched to Russian because philosophy is something that I can still get back to, and is also a subject that you can teach without having a degree in it. If, for example, they need another teacher and you are interested in it and know something about it, you don't have to have a degree to teach it at schools. So, yeah. Have you heard of Pennsylvania Dutch? Yes, I have actually. In the past, I did a presentation in school on the Amish. So I also really enjoyed hearing it in the Harrison Ford movie, The Witness, I think it's called. Where this little Amish boy witnesses a murder at the train station, I think. Yeah. Can you do a British accent? I've done this before in a Q&A video, and it went kind of wrong because it sounded very, very staged and very awkward and cringy. And really not as good as I can do a British accent, as well as I can do a British accent. The thing with accents is that because it is a second language of mine, I get highly influenced by whatever I hear before speaking or last heard. For example, if I watch a lot of British stand-up, I will be inclined to speak more British-y afterwards, or if I watch something very slangy American-ish, I will then be inclined to speak that way, and stuff like that. So I can do a British accent, and I would say I can do it pretty well. Sometimes I slip up, but I really don't want to transition into it now because I'm really not confident enough in that I will do it well right now because so. Pick up German as a living language component of the modern literature degree I'm going to take in French next year. That's interesting. Living language component in the modern literature. Okay. Why do you take German and French then? Like, do you have to pick other like modern languages to go along with that? Like, what do you do in that then? Just interested. Thank you for the praise. How are you able to recall episode numbers so easily? Well, some I have memorized better than others, but I work on each episode for a pretty long time. So I have, for some, I really like for more recent ones, I really tend to know what's going on in them. Although sometimes I don't remember all details. For example, sometimes I will have comments saying like, "But it's not true that this and this happened," and I will read that comment and be like, "Did I say that?" And then I have to watch the whole video again just to make sure that I didn't actually say that. So that happens to me, but if I have to recommend a video more, over and over again, for example, if people ask me about music, I just, by now I just refer them to episode 25, because otherwise I would, type up such a long message every time somebody asks. So some, I just know that they're where they are out of habit, I guess. Yeah. And with the rest, I just look them up if I need to. So, I can't see because this is actually only the chat that is activated, because there are almost 100 of you right now. So it would be a bit chaotic if I guess we could do video, but then there's always the risk of this is the internet, of somebody exposing themselves. I don't think the risk is very high among my viewers, but you never know. And audio obviously would be a huge mess, because I think I'm like a minute ahead. That's why I'm replying. Like, this is so weird with the replying mechanism. There's a major lag in between me actually speaking and you seeing it. So you wanting to talk would be a huge mess and would never fit with what I'm actually talking about right now. So unfortunately, we can't do the whole face-to-face thing. So you're sort of a language master somehow. Well, thank you. I wouldn't say so. I think I do have some sort of a gift for languages of some sorts, but definitely not as much of one as many other people. But I like them, and I think that is a big part. Like, just being interested in them is really, like, because it keeps you motivated, right? Just being interested in something is what keeps you going. So I think that's the bigger part. Wanting to work, wanting to learn, I should say. Is the Oktoberfest a large event outside of Bayern, München? Do most Germans attend, or would you say it's mostly foreigners? I've actually never been to Oktoberfest. I'm not. This will sound wrong. I am a people person, but I'm definitely not a crowd person. I hate huge crowds, and also don't like beer. So I probably will go to Oktoberfest at some point, just because it's something that you have to experience, especially if you live here, I guess. So by now, it is a big thing outside of Bayern, and they actually sell Dirndl and Lederhosen in normal clothes shops like H&M, C&A, normal big stores every year around Oktoberfest time. So yeah, what was I talking? Oh, Oktoberfest. So this is a big thing, and of course, with globalization comes nationalization, I guess, as well, in the sense that things that are regional are more likely to bleed into bigger regions around them, and eventually, if they're big enough, the whole country. So Oktoberfest has even has a little, like, if you can't go to Bavaria this year, you can celebrate it here. But I would say it's still more popular in southern Germany than it is in northern Germany. Most Germans attend. I don't think most Germans attend. I would say a lot of Bavarians attend, and probably a lot of people from other southern federal states as well. Most Germans is very much an exaggeration, I think. It's a lot of foreigners there by now. I don't think it's mostly foreigners, though. I don't think so. Your English is really, really like Pennsylvanian Germans, is it? I don't know. Just doesn't seem too unlikely, as there are many German descendants in Pennsylvania, apparently. Hi, Katja. What's the answer to Grüß Gott? Grüß Gott. Just the same thing back. Very typical Bavarian greeting. I like wearing hats. I like the way they look on my head, and I don't know. They were kind of my thing in the real world already, so I figured why not wear them in videos as well. So, and I have a lot of them, and I think they go well with. I'm a big fan of making outfits blend together color-wise. So, and I think they do a lot in that. If you don't, of course, if you don't want to dye your hair, if you want to dye your hair every week, that works too. What is your favorite show? My favorite show. With German shows, it's kind of hard. I actually really like one of the show, or most of the shows that I recommended in my movies videos. I really like Stromberg. I've watched it multiple times. I also like the Tatortreiniger a lot. I watch Tatort now and then because my parents watch it. Um, uh, as for non-German shows, or well, it's mostly going to be American shows. My favorite, absolutely favorite show in the world is Boy Meets World, which I actually never saw as a kid, but I was I first saw it as I don't know, I think I was 15, 16-ish. And that's the first time I saw it, and since then I think I've rewatched it 6 times, and I'm on my 7th time right now. And it's just I just love it. I love everything about this show. I love it. It just warms my heart. I don't know. So Boy Meets World, and then from with modern thing, I really dislike 2.5 Men. Uh, I like Big Bang Theory. It's kind of easy to digest stuff. Light humor. Um, How I Met Your Mother is okay. It's very popular here, but it's not really my thing. And after season 5, I think things started to get really dragged out and really, get to the point. Then, hold on. Dang it. I lost my train of thought. Um, Damn. There was something I wanted to say just now. Uh, what other show? Oh yeah, Fringe. I really liked Fringe. Fringe is like the perfect mix of, I don't want to say horror, mystery thriller with gory horror-y elements, I guess. Because I'm not really big on gore movies or shocker movies because but I really liked Fringe because I do like that, if it's kind of like eerie. So I really like that. I like that show, and I love Anna Torv. Um, which actually brings me back to one of my favorite games. I love Heavenly Sword, just to throw that in there real quick, which she was the model for the main character. So the connections, the transitions are amazing. So yeah, favorite shows. Other than that, I have to. Oh, and House. I've also watched House MD a few times. Besides that, you can. Most of these are very popular and known shows. So I'm not really big on watching shows in general. If I get sucked into one, I will watch it. Or if it's like, I don't have to concentrate in on it much, so I can watch it while I'm working or something. That's when I'll watch stuff. Yeah. Other than that, I'm not a big expert on series, on shows, I would say. But as I didn't watch a lot of anime until 5 years ago or something, I I cannot describe how amazing I think Fullmetal Alchemist is, for especially the second season. From the anime spectrum, I would say that Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood is definitely my favorite show of all time. Just I hear the music and I get goosebumps all over. I can't help it. It's awesome. I don't play StarCraft. Honestly, I haven't dared to get into it because it's not as easy to get into as League of Legends, as obviously League of Legends is designed to get you hooked right away because it's so easy to understand and everything. Um, so I don't know. I might look into it at some point. But as I said, I don't find playing on the computer and especially playing online nearly as relaxing as playing on the console because you're always engaged and you're interacting with other people, so it's more like it's not that not like leaning back as much, I think. So that's why I'm not really in there as much. No, I could not get enough of Alice Matters Returns. I would have, it would have hurt the story, obviously, but if it were for me, it could have been longer. I actually played the original Alice, I think like 3 years after it came out. No, that's too early. Let's say 5 or 6 years after it's 2006-ish. I got it and it was way too early because it like scared me so much and I couldn't play it. And to this day I can't play it because of like because it scared me so much back then. And even like if I started playing it today it wouldn't be as bad, but just kind of sticks with you, I guess. Могу имя слушать, которые из вашей русской карьеры. If you're gonna have to rewrite that in Cyrillic, and even then, I'm not too positive or too optimistic that I will be able to read it. Because I don't really know that much about that much Russian yet. No, I haven't played Dota. I don't have anything against it. This is not a principle thing. I think this whole League of Legends versus Dota 2 thing is ridiculous. Just play whatever the hell you want. I haven't played it. That's it. Not because I don't want to, just because I haven't. I've taken a look into Smite, but I felt like it would be a lot better, or I would like it a lot better if played with a controller. I don't know if that is possible by now. Yeah, but I got really with using the directional buttons and everything. Although I like the layout because when somebody's in the jungle, you actually can't see them because there's trees in front of them instead of having to shadow stuff. I like the concept, and I love mythology and stuff based on mythology, but the controls are kind of icky for me. Telling time question. Been learning German with Rosetta Stone. They really push the 24-hour clock. Do Germans really use this? Yes. We don't know anything about the whole PM AM system until we learn about it in school, and even then most people probably won't even bother with it. So yes, if you plan on actually I don't know if you're planning on living here or what type of conversations you're planning on having, but you would definitely need the 24-hour clock. Definitely. Have you gotten many supporters in Patreon? You can check it. it's public to see how many people there are. I've actually been surprised because from the ratio of patrons to subscribers is relatively low from the people that I've seen. So for that, I think it's a good ratio, and I'm very thankful for everyone that supports me, even just a little bit on there. Ein populares deutsches Schimpfwort. Popular is not really what we say. Beliebt is what we would say. Beliebt. Check episode 36. Ah, j'ai appris le français à l'école. Exactly. Thank you. I completely forgot what the past tense form of that was. The mistake was cute. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. See, and that is why you don't have to be afraid to make mistakes in German either, because most people probably will think it's cute when you mess up, as long as they can understand you. If they don't understand you, they'll help you, but if it's little mistakes like this, if people are getting what you're trying to say, then that's completely fine. Yeah, right. J'ai appris. Yeah. Now that you say it, it seems so stupid to make that mistake. Sure. Dun, 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 dun. Any plans to visit India? No, not yet. But I do want to go there sometime. If there's any way possible, I definitely want to see all of the world throughout my life. I don't know which one will be first. And funny that you should mention Morocco, because I was actually thinking about going there this summer, but I think it will probably be too hot, and there's some time management issues as well. So it probably won't be Morocco. But also something that I'm planning on doing. I'm very restricted, of course, timely to my, the holidays I get from my semester. But yeah, I mean, why not? I'm not really opposed to any country so far, to visiting any country. Living there is another story. Can you say a word in Arabic? Oh Jesus. I actually learned a few Arabic words. Um, but I don't want to say anything because I will butcher your language and I don't want to. What are you drinking? Vodka, obviously. No, it's water. We have water in glass bottles here. It's pretty common. We have them in plastic bottles as well, but it's pretty common to have them in glass bottles. Mm. So yeah, water, just water. Carbonated, of course, because it's way better. Okay. Looking through questions. Namaste. Namaste. Yeah, I know stay in is supposed to be a shortened form of staying. I just didn't get the joke if you were trying to make a joke. Is the aeronautical sector strong in Germany? The aeronautical sector? I have no idea. Maybe, probably, I have no. I mean, we don't launch rockets, I think. So you say download my phone, which I've put into German. Awesome idea. Absolutely brilliant idea. Very good, very good. If you can, just a side note before I answer your question, if you can, put everything you're using on a daily basis and that you already know the main layout of into German. Facebook, your phone, games. I play Hearthstone in Russian at the moment, which sometimes gets kind of annoying. Интересно. But yeah, put everything you can, like the interfaces and everything, put them into German because, of course, that won't, give you huge jumps, but it will make it normal to, to see, hear, and read and pronounce, to read aloud German in your everyday life. So, says herunterladen when I try to download something. Yes, we say herunterladen, which basically is just a literal translation of to download. Herunter, down, laden, to load. We say that too, but we can't say download. The reason I mentioned télécharger is because it really isn't, it isn't a literal translation. It's really a new word, which of course comes from the field. Makes sense, but yeah. Yeah, herunterladen is, as I said, just a translation, and it is used. Ich lade mir eine App runter. So yeah, colloquially is not herunterladen. That's written language, but we would say colloquial, like spoken language, we would say runterladen, which is the shortened version of herunter. So yeah, but you could say downloaden. Ich downloade mir eine App. Do you know any Spanish? Nope. ¿Cómo estás? I don't know anymore. Sorry. ¿Cómo te llamas? Habla español. The stupid standard sentences. What do Germans think about Nazi Party nowadays? What a dark topic. Are there still people who are Nazis? Yes, there are neo-Nazis, but generally a vast majority of Germans does not take kindly to Nazis and people oriented to the right, which I think is a very good thing. Вы говорите по-русски. Немного говорю по-русски. Oh, so much Spanish. Mi casa es tu casa. Abre la puerta. Puerta. Sorry. Oh, you know that. I don't know. Makes me think of Monkey Island 3. What was it? Puerto Pollo. Watch Downton Abbey. I don't know. As I said, I'm not a big show person. Do people in Germany speak in accents in the city or only in the rural areas? Well, both. Because some cities actually have their own dialect. Berlin has, you know, when people speak in the dialect from Berlin, we call it Berlinern to Berlin. And you know, many big cities have their own dialect. Stuttgart, for example, I wouldn't say has its own dialect. People from there would probably disagree with me because, like in England, every little its own dialect. But you know, for outsiders or Germans not from that area, in Stuttgart you just speak Schwäbisch, which is the dialect that you speak in the whole general area around Stuttgart and also in parts of Bavaria. But some big cities have their own dialect that is then kind of also spoken in the periphery and, you know, around that area. But mostly it's regional, but and of course, implying here, of course, people in cities, academic people tend to speak more Hochdeutsch than rural people from rural areas. So I think that's true for Germany as well. But there are specific accents for cities, just like in any other country. I do know that page, and that is actually a page that many Germans watch for streaming movies. So yeah, that's you hit the jackpot there, Guntorio. Katia Deschremant, bonne continuation. Merci beaucoup. You once said you will make your own website. Are you a programmer too? No. I do know my basic HTML, but I will definitely not make a page with that. So no, I'm not a programmer. I know some basic elements, but that's it. Like very, very basic. You know, I'm not being humble. I'm a complete programmer noob. But I design stuff. Like I like designing stuff. Websites too. Do you like any other alcohol apart from beer? I'm open to alcohol. I don't like whiskey really. And I don't like wine either, really. So, you know, mostly drink stuff mixed. I'm really not a person to drink alcohol pure most of the time. Alcohol pure. Hey Kat, who drew the picture of your channel? Me. If you do stuff yourself, you don't have to deal with, you know, all that annoying stuff like licensing and everything. So yeah, everything you see on this channel is done by me so far. Can you tell us the difference between mir and mich? Mir is the dative and mich is the accusative of ich, I. So it really depends on what case is appropriate to use with the noun. With the verb or the preposition or whatever. You know, this is dictated by different variables that can appear in a sentence. this is all stuff that I will get to more in depth in the future too as well, though. But I talked about the personal pronouns before, and actually this is something that I will have to check. The episodes on the personal pronouns were relatively early as far as grammar goes, and I think it was like around episode 19, I think. I first introduced them. Come on. Yeah, I first introduced the German personal pronouns themselves in episode 13, and then I declined them in episodes 19, 21, and 23. So the declensions of ich are in episode 19. So you might want to take that out again. Oh, the chart files. Okay, I was just thinking, you know, there is a chart in pluralizing German nouns. That's why I was like, huh? You can find the files, like the actual downloadable files, on my Facebook page. They're in an album there. Oh, somebody from Finland. That's great. At the moment, I'm learning English, Swedish, German, and Russian, but I really want to learn Korean and Japanese. That's quite ambitious. I mean, all power to you, you know, learning 4 languages at once. If you can pull it off, I mean, you know, big respect. Actually, I had this thing because I started studying French in school about the same time that I started teaching myself Japanese, and that still, you know, is true for today. I mix up French and Japanese every now and then for like little words, like saying yes. It has happened to me numerous times that I would say oui when I was actually speaking Japanese, and saying hi when I was actually supposed to be speaking French. So that's something that is kind of uncomfortable about learning more than one language at once. But, you know, it is doable, and it's certainly the quicker route, so good luck to you. We только понимают русский. Kirill... What? Nee. Kirip Ritsai? Kirip... I don't know what your adjective here is. Am I only learning Russian? What kind of Russian? Kiriplitke. Litsai. I don't know. Harry Potter is great too, yeah. I can understand how you would, you know, get lost in that as well. I love the books too, but I think the most I've ever read one of the books was, I think I read the 4th book 3 times. But that's the extent for Harry Potter for me. But yeah, I think you're getting the point. Looney Teeth? I never know how to pronounce your name. I know your avatar, but yeah, I think you're getting the point. It's just, you know, this kind of connection you feel with the characters and something, I guess. I honestly didn't like Bleach that much. I watched Naruto for a pretty long time, which, you know, everybody does, I guess, nowadays. Back then, you know, when it was coming out, I watched it for a while, or for quite a while actually, until Shippuden. And then I read the manga for a while. But Bleach, it was good. I watched the first season or arc, you know, until the whole rescuing Rukia thing. But I never really warmed up to it. I know a lot of people love it, and I probably should have watched a lot more of it until I made a final judgment, but I just never really got back to it, and, you know. Have you ever seen an anime called Zero no Tsukaima? Never even heard of it. If it's more recent, I'm not the most recent, like recent anime I've watched, like one that actually came out recently was Shingeki no Kyojin, Attack on Titan, which I actually watched as it came out, which is something that I normally hate doing, because I normally like to wait for stuff to come out and then watch it. But it was just, I couldn't wait. So I actually watched that recently, after not having watched any newer anime, like anime that had come out since 2009. I think ever since then I've only watched stuff, or almost only watched stuff that I'd already seen before then. So yeah. You just finished watching Fullmetal Alchemist in German a few weeks ago. Well, you got to listen to one of my favorite German voice actors then, David Turba, who is the one who voices Ed in German. He's awesome. I generally don't like German anime dubs that much. I'm very much one of those watch the original dub people, but they're definitely much better than most English dubs, so can't complain. Just don't watch Naruto in German, please. It will ruin both Naruto and German for you forever. uh, Scott, I don't think she's into those anime. What, is it ecchi or something? Now I have to look it up, guys. You're making me curious. I have to look up Zero no Tsukaima. Light novel Raya. Uh-huh. Looks alright. Doesn't look like something I would go crazy over. Okay, so it is kind of... Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's my cup of tea. But no, I'd never heard of it before. Yes, One Piece. I was just gonna get to One Piece. One Piece is awesome. I actually have oh, you can't see it on screen right now, but I have the manga up until I think volume 30. So really like Skypia. That was Skypia, dudes. That was like years ago. I bought it up until then, years ago. And I have to buy more at some point, but my priorities are a bit different by now. But yeah, uh, One Piece is awesome, and I've actually, if I keep, I will regularly watch the newest episodes from the point that I last left off, or sometimes even from the very beginning. And then, just stop eventually because, as I said, I hate watching one episode every week. It's just too much work, and it's too much cliffhanger stuff. What Game of Thrones is doing to me right now is just not real. Oh yeah, that's another show I love, Game of Thrones, but who doesn't? Probably people who have read the books. uh, yeah. Yeah, as I said, I really love One Piece as well. I love the whole, that thing that just makes it awesome in general. I think the whole friendship is everything, and nobody can hate the moments where Ruffy just goes berserk because one of his friends is being hurt. So I think that's the main thing why I love One Piece. Uh, No PC Master Race. Sorry, I don't mind PC games. I just Prefer console. I'm actually playing the first God of War right now. Yeah, can you believe that came out like 10 years ago? Almost. Unbelievable. I mean, when I look at the graphics, I can definitely believe it, but wow, I'm old. Why is it so hard to find German cartoons in torrent or download from sites? And another question that I just saw, what is our stance on piracy in Germany? Copyright is being very, very is enforced very, what do you say, rigidly. Germany. You probably have heard about, people complaining about music on YouTube always being offline, even if it is by was uploaded by somebody that actually has the rights to it. And this is something that YouTube actually does. This is normally doesn't happen because of the GEMA, which is the company that represents musicians here. They normally don't even have to make a claim, but YouTube is so afraid of getting in trouble with them that they just remove, or they just make it impossible for German YouTube viewers to watch any copyrighted material. Which has its upsides. I mean, I definitely agree with enforcing copyright, but there are limits, I think, or there should be limits. So I wouldn't say there aren't ways to download stuff in general in Germany, but it's definitely harder than in other countries. As an English speaker who doesn't know German, how hard would it be to transition to Germany? That really depends on a lot of factors. If you were going to make work for a company that has connections to English-speaking countries anyway, that's going to be a lot easier than trying to go work for a company that mostly, has clients within Germany and therefore doesn't really need to have anybody who knows English well. I mean, you need people that know English everywhere nowadays, but since we all learn English in school by now, if the workplace only requires that they all know a bit of English, you can't, that strength will be wasted. But if you use, if you gather your strengths and count native English speaking as one of them and look for jobs using that, and of course are willing to learn German, as you obviously are, then I think it's not that hard. You actually know what episode number contains what content? Blows my mind. I said this before. For some I do know, for some I don't know that. Well, I have a general knowledge of when what should have been, just because I worked on it. But yeah. Have you ever watched Pulp Fiction? I have, and I have to say, I'm probably gonna get hated on a lot. But yeah, it was good, but I don't get the hype. It's alright. Good movie, yeah, but wasn't my thing. Wasn't really doing it for me. Love Django Unchained though. It's already 7 p.m. in Germany. The sun is on high. Here in the tropics, 6 p.m. The sun is already gone. Yeah, I don't know. It's actually getting close to 8, and it will be there until 8:30 or so, probably. A job as an engineer. Well, Germans love them some engineers here. Themselves. Shouldn't use slang if you're not going to do it correctly. And should stay focused on the sentence that you're going to say. Well, anyway, yeah, engineers are very, very popular here. Although, that's why a lot of people here study to be engineers. So. How many countries have I visited in my life? Ooh, a lot. I've been around Western Europe. I've been to the US, and unfortunately that's it. Continent-wise, but around Europe, I've been to a few places, so yeah. And I'm definitely planning on, you know, extending that in the future. In Iran, we have some difficulties with paying international, no credit cards and no international accounts. Is there any other way to support you from Iran financially or technically? Well, I think, first of all, thank you for wanting to go through the trouble for me. I think PayPal lets you set up stuff directly to your bank account, if that works. If that doesn't work, then I don't think there's anything to be done, which sucks, of course, but I appreciate the sentiment anyway. Большое извинение, я не понимал задержку. А, что это за задержку? Я не знаю. Katya, would it be possible for you to record or film a kind of a day in Katya's life? No. I don't like vlogging. First of all, I don't feel like my life is important enough. Secondly, I don't feel like my life should be important enough to you. And thirdly, I don't think it's a wise idea to just put your everyday and everything on the internet just out of, you know, as a general thing. So I don't think I will do that. I've been thinking for a while on how to do maybe a video where I just speak German. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'm not big on revealing everything about myself on the internet, which is kind of hypocritical to say because I have a Facebook account. But you know, the whole vlogging thing, I appreciate it, but I don't think I would be good at doing it myself, unless it were about my opinions and stuff, because that's a whole other story. But just talking about today I did this and then this happened and I cooked myself some noodles. You know, it's just you do that yourself. Go live your life. You don't need to see mine. That's my opinion on that. You know, if you like to watch vlogs, that's absolutely fine. Not trying to say that's a stupid idea or something. You know, if you like it, watch whatever you like. But if I recorded something like that and rewatched it after that, I would probably delete it just because I felt like it wasn't meaningful enough to put on the internet. Trinkst du jetzt Sprudelwasser oder Wodka? Na, Wodka natürlich. Nee, das ist wirklich Wasser. Ich weiß nicht, wo das, also, es ist Wasser, glaubt's mir. Mineralwasser. Wenn du selber Deutsch bist, dann weißt du doch, dass es in Wasserflaschen kommt, oder? Also in Glasflaschen. Bam, bam, bam. I'd like to see some videos explaining synonyms. Here are some examples. Gegenwärtig, laufend, derzeit, zurzeit, aktuell. Yeah. Although I don't think that's something that would be up soon because that is like extra stuff, I think. But I've been thinking, especially because I've been doing these videos now for, you know, answering questions. I've been thinking about maybe implementing that more regularly, but I would have to shift around my schedule, and at the moment it's really a bad idea to put in some regular new stuff because I'm struggling enough with the schedule as it is. So, but thanks for the suggestion. It's always nice to hear what you guys want to see. So thanks. Okay, guys, I'm gonna be on for another 10 minutes. I would really love to stay because I'm actually really enjoying this, and there's quite a few of you here still. But I have to get some more work done because uni tomorrow, and then I've got to eat. So, you know, another 10 minutes, and then I'm gonna have to wrap this up. So, where you landed, blah blah. Do you recommend me getting Rosetta Stone while also having these other tools? Well, Rosetta Stone, I've never actually used a Rosetta Stone course, so I can't really say for sure, but Rosetta Stone seems to be very um, focused on vocabulary specifically, which is good because, as I mentioned before today, vocabulary is the thing that will make it or break it. You can know all the grammar, which you do need, but you can know all the structure stuff and everything, but you need the words because without words you won't be able to express what you're saying. So it is important to learn vocabulary. The question is just if Rosetta Stone is the ideal way of doing so, because you spend a lot of money on a program that has you repeat stuff in a way that you could, easily provide for yourself with writing stuff on cards. Actually, what I use to repeat vocabulary, and which I find a lot better because I can set up what vocabulary I want to learn or study, is a freeware program called Anki, Anki, that lets you put in your own vocabulary and solutions, and you can flip the cards, and it will set up this rhythm for you to when to repeat what, when to, how many new words are there, what do you have to repeat today and everything. And I use it for Russian. Of course, for this, the requirement is that you have words that you put in there. So part of the work is still on you. You have to have, you need to find the vocabulary for yourself. If you don't want to do that, I would say Rosetta Stone is a good way to go because it gives you lessons and it decides what you need to know to be at this level, at this level, at this level. So it has its upsides, definitely. You just have to decide if it really depends on the style of learning that you want to go, or studying, I should say. Naruto has only 25 good episodes. I can't believe it's still popular. I wouldn't say 25, but I definitely do agree that it's been going on for way too long. Because I still like the concept, and the characters really get, we really get to know the characters. But it's been dragged out for way too long by now, so yeah, definitely agree with you to a point there. Do you like Inuyasha? I never watched Inuyasha, so I can't say if I like it or not. I just never watched it. As a kid, I was much more into Gambare Kekas, which is a little pretty old show about an elementary football team, which is funny because nowadays I really don't like football at all. Yeah, but that was my show back then. It was like 26 episodes, standard anime thing, but I loved it to death. Now I had a big crush on one of the characters. Oh, and I watched Pokemon. Oh man, first season of Pokemon was my shit. Sorry for the curse word, but seriously, I mean, they should have just stopped after season 1. It got stupid after that. Okay. Oh, so hipster. Okay. Death Note was alright in English. I didn't watch Death Note in English. I watched it in Japanese, and I saw a trailer for it for the German version. Oh no! I did see some of it in English. I don't know. I guess it wasn't as bad as some of the other stuff I saw, but it doesn't work for me. Animation tends to be dubbed in a very cartoony way in America, which I can understand because cartoons in America are mostly kids shows and are mostly meant to be silly and over the top. So I feel that a lot of voice actors seem to struggle with the concept of actually doing a serious topic in an animation, actually sounding that way without making their voice sound like this all the time. And oh my god, and did you see what happened there? I mean, that's, I'm exaggerating here, but I don't know. I've been listening to Digimon songs in German recently. Digimon is one of my childhood series. Well, awesome. Cool. I never really watched Digimon. As I said, I like Pokemon, but not that you couldn't like both, but I, yeah. But that's good. As I said, yeah, especially stuff that you already know is a good way to start getting into, you know, uh, yeah, getting into the hearing habit, I guess. I'm originally from Northern England, and Southerners find the Northern accent quite comical and hard to understand. Yeah, right? And it's the same here, and people constantly make fun of each other for being from the north of Germany, from the south of Germany, or actually from the north of one federal state, or from the south of one federal state, or even from this little village or this little village. So, it's just, some healthy rivalry, I guess. How much does written German differentiate from spoken German? I wouldn't say it's much different than English. Yeah, there are some formalities and there are some words and uh, you know um, phrases that you won't find in spoken German unless you're speaking with somebody that is really that really likes speaking well or upper class-ish. Uh, so yeah, we butter the bread with butter. Yeah, I don't know. It's a strange band, but I definitely know them. Dude, it's been nearly 2 hours. I know, right? Weird. So weird. No, time's been flying, and I need to wrap this up, but I don't want to. Okay, I've got to scroll down to see what question. Maybe. Uh, yes, Patreon is safe as far as I know. As safe as anything over the internet can be. If that isn't safe enough for you, definitely understand. Um, yeah, it is the internet. I'm saying taking a week's break before Auburn's big battle because here we don't really care about Memorial Day because it's we don't even know really about it. So last Sunday was like Game of Thrones. It's like, oh my God, it's been 2 weeks. Why would you do this to me? Only old people use Facebook now. Not here. Jesus, you're hipsterish. Oh, too fast. Gerne, Timo. Okay, guys. Um. Oh, Cowboy Bebop, right? Yeah, I watched that a while ago. Um. It has some interesting parallels to Wolf's Rain. The most superficial of which being that after it, you kind of sit there and are like, what? Um, but I like Wolf's Rain a lot better than Cowboy Bebop, but I love the music in Cowboy Bebop, and I really like the style of both. Um, okay. Um, yeah, yeah. Nice. People are wrapping this up themselves. Yeah, I also feel like we should do this again. And actually, I just want to say thank you to all of you for being so interested and nice and you know asking so many interesting questions. And yeah, because I was actually kind of scared that this would be you know all of who are you dating and can I marry you? Yeah, that kind of stuff. None of that happened. So thank you for that, and thank you for being great, and being the community that I know you to be and like to think that you are. So yeah. Okay, it's been over 2 hours. Wow, guys, amazing. Okay, so again, thanks for 25,000, or rather, I think by now it's 26. Yeah, 26,000 something subscriptions, and keep them coming. Um, And besides that, I will see you probably next Tuesday again. So not the upcoming one, but the one after that. Okay, and that will be it. For the people that asked if this will be or is on my channel, this Hangout will now be saved on my channel. So if you want to get back to anything, that is then possible there. All right, guys, have a nice rest of the evening or rest of the day, depending on where you are. And I hope you sail well. And ja. Viel Spaß mit Deutsch weiterhin. Tschüss!